Hitler's mysterious megafortress, Antarctic secret Nazi base. There is very little known to us about the expedition of Hitler to Antarctica. It is claimed that Hitler went there to build his own mysterious megafortress as his secret Nazi base. But why Antarctica? And what was the secret base like? And why did he decide to build it? Continue watching the video till the end to know more. Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another video from our channel. We hope you guys are doing extremely well. In this video, we'll be talking about Hitler's mysterious megafortress. We will be diving deep into every aspect of this topic, so if you are new to this channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now without any further ado, let's hop right into the video. Scientists have discovered a secret Nazi base, built on direct orders from German dictator Adolf Hitler, located 1,000 kilometers from the North Pole. For decades, the location of the mysterious site known as Schatzgraber, or Treasure Hunter, on Alexandra Land in the Arctic Circle had remained unknown. Researchers exploring the isolated land, which is now a Russian territory, stumbled upon over 500 relics, including the ruins of bunkers, discarded petrol canisters, and even paper documents, preserved by the island's freezing climate. The supposed weather station is believed to have been constructed on direct orders from Hitler in 1942, a year after his invasion of Russia. It was in service from 1943, before being abandoned in July 1944. When its crew was poisoned after being forced to eat raw polar bear meat infected with roundworms while running low on supplies. Before, it was only known from written sources, but now we have also real proof, said Evgeny Ermolov, a senior researcher at the Russian Arctic National Park. Researchers found bullets, scraps of tents, and personal items such as shoes, many of which appear to be dated and marked with a swastika. About 500 items of historical value have been collected on the grounds of the former Treasure Hunter German station that operated on the Alexandra Land island of Franz Josef Land from September 1943 until July 1944, said Yulia Petrova, National Park Press Secretary. Russian scientists claim they found the remains of a secret Nazi base on a remote island in the Arctic Circle. The discovery of more than 500 Nazi artifacts on an island called Alexandra Land has led the team to believe that it was a site of a long-rumored base known as the Schatzgraber, or Treasure Hunter, which was built on direct orders from Adolf Hitler. Schatzgraber was a mysterious Arctic weather station that was built in 1942 after Hitler invaded Russia. Its construction and abandonment was documented in the 1954 German book Wettertrupp, Haudegen. But no one had ever found the physical evidence that it existed until now, and it's often dismissed as a wartime myth. According to the written record, Schatzgraber was serviced from 1943, but was abandoned a year later in July 1944. The soldiers were rescued by a German U-boat, but the base was abandoned after that, and to this day no one is entirely sure what the point of the base was, or until now, where it had been located. A team of Russian scientists from the Russian Arctic National Park came across more than 500 relics on Alexandra Land. These relics haven't been made public yet, but the team says they're dated and marked with the swastika, providing evidence the island was the location of the mysterious Schatzgraber. To be clear, this link still needs to be verified, and without further analysis of the documents and artifacts found on the island, we can't say for sure whether it was home to the Nazi base, but the evidence is now on its way back to Russia for further analysis, and will be put on display for the public soon. Earlier, Schatzgraber was only known from written sources, but now we also have real proof, said a senior researcher at the national park, Evgeny Ermolov. Now we can enter this data in the scientific revolution, and referring to the evidence to expand and clarify the idea of the German army operations in the Arctic region during the Second World War, added team member Eugene Yerbolov. Note, quotes have been translated from Russian. The discovery is particularly interesting because there are people who believe that the site's name, which translates to Treasure Hunter, suggests the Nazi base wasn't just a weather station, but part of a secret mission to find ancient relics. No, they weren't looking for the Tesseract. You guys have been watching too many Marvel movies. But archaeological evidence that Nordic populations once ruled the world to justify their propaganda. Although there were research institutes in Nazi Germany pursuing that goal, there is currently no evidence that this was happening at Schatzgraber. But, hopefully, thorough analysis of the written documents found at the site will provide some more insight into what went on up there in the Arctic Circle during World War II. Alexandra Land has been a disputed territory for decades, but is now part of the Russian Federation, and Russia apparently has plans to build its own permanent military base in the region. Let's just hope they've learned their lesson and stay away from the polar bear meat. Conditions in Schatzgraber, only 620 miles from the North Pole, were brutal. Up and running in 1943, the station had to be abandoned the next year, when its crew was poisoned with raw polar bear meat they had to eat when they ran low on supplies. A U-boat had to be tasked with picking up the seriously ill crew and the station was abandoned. At least that's the official record. Much of Schatzgraber's story is based on myth. The station first came to light in the records of a 1953 German book, but no evidence had been found until now. Then there's that name. While treasure hunter could reasonably be interpreted as in attacking the Allied convoys, some believe that the station served a double purpose as a base for Nazi archaeological study, in search of Nordic artifacts for propaganda purposes, or maybe just somebody watched Raiders of the Lost Ark one too many times. The theory has some basis in reality. The Nazi government vigorously promoted archaeology as a means of propaganda, and under the direction of Heinrich Himmler, the program became increasingly devoted towards the occult. A 1938 German investigation into Iceland failed, but showed that the government believed the Arctic was crucial to its propaganda work. Alas, no hammers of Thor, no portals to God were found at Schatzgraber. Rather, shoes, gas canisters, bullets, ruined bunkers, and a batch of paper documents have been maintained by the island's icy climate. Publicly, it was a weather monitoring station, but during the war it also served as a waypoint for German U-boats. Hitler ordered the base's construction in 1943, but no one had proof the base existed. For decades, it was thought to be nothing more than a wartime myth. Some researchers speculated the Nazis were using the station's sophisticated meteorological equipment to research the locations of Nordic artifacts to be used in Nazi propaganda. The base was abandoned when Russian teams arrived, and only empty munitions, fuel canisters, and documents were to be found. No Thor's hammer. The Nazis abandoned the base after eating tainted polar bear meat. Unable to continue their work, they were retrieved via U-boat and taken back to Germany. Time and logistics. The base, described as first built in 1939, is usually described as being about 250 kilometers inland across a previously unexplored and unmapped crevassed and sloping ice shelf. The ship Schwabenland was in the area for about a month. Previous Antarctic bases had been established by Scott, Shackleton, Amundsen, and others took at least 2 weeks to construct the base buildings. The Germans were inexperienced in such things, and transport across 250 kilometers of uncharted ice field would have been difficult and time-consuming, even for the experienced. The Dornier aircraft had a payload equivalent of about 10 people, and being flying boats, were unable to land and take off safely on a glacier or ice cap, so could not have been used for transport. There was simply not enough time or resources to build a base so far inland in such a short space of time, even to house just a dozen or so men, as had happened previously, let alone the hundreds imagined by the authors who described the base. There have now been well over 1,000 scientists who have visited the area of New Schwabenland. Several scientific bases have been established there since the 1950s. The whole area has been mapped by satellite, and considerable air traffic has crisis-crossed the area. None of this has led to the reporting of even the slightest evidence of a wartime Nazi base. As it was supposedly built in an ice-free oasis, it would not have been buried by snow. And that's all for today. Did we miss out on anything? Do you have any other insights on this topic? Did you enjoy watching the video? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please like the video if you have not already, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to press the bell icon to never miss another update from our channel. With that being said, let's meet in another one of these videos. Until then, see ya.